Screen, so you need out your journal. If you are at home, you need out your journal as well. We're going to be doing fraction times a fraction. This will take us up to lunch, and we may have to do some after lunch, but that'd be all right too. Okay, we are doing a fraction times a fraction. You will see denominators 2, 3, and 4. You may see other denominators. Woo! I about went down hard and fast right then. If you do see other denominators, fine. You're just going to do it the same way. And while okay, sorry for the interruption. Let's look at this. So, if I think of something with a denominator of 2, I could do 1/2 times 1/2. Now, if you will remember, last week we would draw out our box, a half times a half in shade, and then count up the part that was both shaded versus the whole. And then Bryson helped us learn a new way, I believe, where we just multiply the numerator times the numerator and the denominator times the denominator. So when you are multiplying a fraction by a fraction, step 1 is to multiply the numerator, which is the top number, by the other numerator, which is the other top number. And that'll give you your new top number. So let's just go ahead and multiply straight across. 1 times 1 is 1. Now, sometimes people get in a rush and they go 1 times 1 is 2. What did they do to make a mistake? They added. And hey, guilty of making careless mistakes, right? Look, we have to pay attention to our sign and do what it says to do. Okay, then we're going to draw our line here, and step 2 is going to be multiply the denominator, or the bottom number, by the other denominator, which is the bottom number. Okay, so what is 2 times 2? 2 times 2 is 4. So 1/2 times 1/2 is 1/4. Is that in simplest form? Yes. Step 3 will be simplify. And in parentheses, I'm going to put if needed. If needed. How do I know if my fraction is simplified? I'm going to make this sidebar right here. Step 1 is a unit fraction. If it's a unit fraction, it's simplified. What is a unit fraction? I'm going to give you a hint. A half is a unit fraction. A fourth is a unit fraction. A third is a unit fraction. A fourth. A fifth. Good, Law. Has 1 as the numerator. If it has 1 as the numerator, it is a unit fraction. The second way I know my number is simplified is if it is consecutive. Here's some examples of consecutive fractions. 1/2, 2/3, 3/4, 4/5, 5/6, 6/7. What do you notice about all those fractions? Law?
All of them have at least one prime number.
No. Consecutive numbers.
That they're right there, two of the numbers.
They're in counting order. If I were counting in order, I would say 6, 7. So 6/7 is consecutive. I would say 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4. They are back to back in counting order. So if I were counting, would I say the numbers back to back? That's the test for that one. And then the third way to know if a fraction is simplified, you have to kind of check off your list here. If it's not a unit fraction and it's not consecutive, then you have to go to this third rule. Only. All right, another interruption. Sorry about that. Only common factor is 1. So that means that the only number that will go in both numbers is 1. For example, 2/5. Is it a unit fraction? No, it is not. Is it consecutive? No, it is not back to back. We don't say 1, 2, 5. Okay. What will go into 2 and 5? First, let's look at what will go into 2. 1 and 2. That's the factors of 2. Remember, factors are few. What will go in 1 and 5? What will go into both of those numbers? 1. Anything else? No, so it's simplified. Okay. Let's do another example of that. 3/8. Is it a unit fraction? Is this a unit fraction? No. Is it consecutive? No. What will go into 3? 1 and 3. What will go into 8? 1, 2, 4, and 8. The only common factor is 1. Let's do one more. Ten 17ths. Is it a unit fraction? No, you need to cover your noses. I don't want to have to say it all day. Is it consecutive? No. Let's see what goes into 10. 1. Will 2 go?
Yes.
3?
No.
4?
No.
5?
Yes.
2 times 5 and 1 times 10. What goes into 17? 1 and 17. What's the common factor? 1. Therefore, it is already simplified. Now, this side note, how do I know if my fraction is simplified, is very important. And we will revisit that later as we simplify fractions. What? Yep. So I'm going to stop it right here. And I'm going to let everybody make sure they've copied 1, 2, and 3 there. That much. And then I'll scoot it up. Okay, here we go. So let's do some more practicing. You know what they say about practice? Practice makes perfect. Okay, let's do another one with 2 as the denominator. Let's do 1/2 times 2/2. What is 2/2? 1 whole. 1 times 2 is 2 times 2 is 2/4. Is it simplified? No. It's not a unit fraction. It's not consecutive. And the only common factor is not 1. So I'm going to divide by a form of 1 to simplify it. What will go into 2 and 4? 2 divided by 2 is 2. 4 divided by 2 is? Huh? 4 divided by, I said 2 up here. It should have been 1. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 1/2. We multiplied it out just to simplify it back down again. If we would have said 1/2 times a whole, we could have just wrote 1/2 and been done. What about 2/2 times 2/2? Now I could just think about this and say 1 times 1 equals 1. And it will. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 2 is 4/4 equals 1. What about 1/2 times 3/2? What is this kind of fraction? Improper fraction. 1 times 3 is 3. 2 times 2 is 4. 3/4. What about 1/2 times 5/2? What is 5/2? 1 times 5 is? 2 times 2 is? 4. 4 goes into 5 one time. So your answer is 1 and 1/4. Why 4th? You keep your same denominator. Okay, let's turn our book over and let's do thirds and fourths, and then we'll be done. What?
Whenever we're done, can you put it back over?
Yes. Let's do 1/3 times 1/3. 1 times 1 is 3 times 3 is 9. Let's do 1/3 times 2/3. How do I know this is simplified, by the way?
Because the numerator.
Unit fraction. The numerator's 1. 1 times 2 is 3 times 3 is 9. Is that a unit fraction? Is it consecutive? What's the what number can go into both of those? 1. Anything else? No, so it is simplified. What about 2/3 times 2/3? 2 times 2 is 4. 3 times 3 is 9. It is simplified. How do I know?
Because only one goes.
The only common factor is 1. What about 2/3 times 3/3? Look here. Save yourself trouble. 2/3 times 3/3 is 2/3. How do I know? Because 3/3 is a form of 1, and anything times 1 stays the same. What about 2/3 times 5/3? 2 times 5 is 10. 3 times 3 is 9. 9 will go into 10 how many times? 1. So your whole number's 1. 10 minus 9 is 1. That's your numerator. Your denominator stays the same. 1 and 1/9. Let's do fourths, please. 1/4 times 1/4 equals what? 1.
16.
4 times 4 is 16. 1/4 times 3/4 is 3/16. Is it simplified?
Yes.
Look, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. Yes, it's simplified. Now, can we please mix it up a little bit? Let's shake it up. Ready? 1/2 times 3/4. Because you can have any combination of 2, 3, and 4 as the denominator. 1 times 3 is 2 times 4 is 8. It's simplified. It's not a unit fraction and it's not consecutive, but the only thing that'll go into both is 1.
What about 4 and 2?
What about 4 and 2?
Yeah, 4 times 2 equals 8.
But does 3? You gotta use 3.
Oh.
The only thing that will go into both of these numbers is 1. 2/3 times 3/4. 2 times 3 is 6. 3 times 4 is 12. I can look at 6/12 and know that 6 is what? Half of 12. If I couldn't look at that and know, and listen to me, if you go to simplify and you say, I know that 2 will go into both of those numbers. Well, great. 6 divided by 2 is 3. 12 divided by 2 is 6. Then I can look and I can say 3 will go into both of those numbers. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 6 divided by 3 is 2. Same thing as if I would have just said divided by 6 over 6 is 1/2. As long as you get to the answer, good on you. Right? What if I said 1/2 times 1/4? 1 times 1 is 2 times 4 is 8. It's simplified because it's a unit fraction. Are there any questions about these combinations? Now, might you sometimes see 1/7 times 4/5? You might. How do you do it?
1 times 4 is 7
1 times 4 is 4.
times 5.
7 times 5 is 35. And you're done. Okay? If you see different numbers, does that mean freak out and alert the media? No. It means use the rule. Because if I teach you a rule, it's going to work. Okay? It's like the laws of motion. Do they only work sometimes? They work all the time. And it's like what I told Bryson on Friday. I'm fine with using your rule, but we have to test it and make sure it works some of the time, every single time. Okay, it works every single time.